Most of us are on the same page that holistic health means attending to the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual body. But I have seen this in my own path, and this is something that I'm wanting to more deeply rectify. I've seen in my own path, and I've seen with so many clients that I've worked with, a lack of integration when it comes to the physical component of the body. And I'm not just talking about the nervous system, I'm talking about the cellular level of the vitamins, the minerals, the hormones. I have seen people with serious hormonal imbalances with a host of psychological and physiological symptoms that go away when their hormones are fixed. I have seen people with serious vitamin and mineral deficiencies who have a host of bizarre symptoms that go away when their vitamins and minerals are balanced. It's not rocket science, but it so often gets overlooked. And I think the thing that I want to really drive home in this video is, are you using the correct strategy for what you are actually dealing with? Because sometimes what we think, oh, this is a spiritual problem, and we attack it with a spiritual toolkit. It's not a spiritual problem, it's a physical problem. Or it's not a psychological or emotional problem, it's a physical problem. And when you resolve the underlying physical issue, then you get a sense of what your actual baseline is emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. So I recently met somebody who's a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and I was sharing with him, not like as my practitioner, but just a person who happens to do this. And I was sharing a little bit about how I still experience some anxiety. That's one of the core things that I feel like I haven't fully developed that capacity in my nervous system. And because that's usually the lens, right? I'm looking at like, what part of me is creating that anxiety? What is happening in my nervous system that I need to build the capacity for distress? And while all of that is completely valid, I had been overlooking the obvious thing, which is what is creating inflammation in my body. And when originally he was talking about how traditional Chinese medicine approaches things like anxiety, I was like, well, no, it's situational. So it's clearly triggered by very specific things. And he said, yeah, but that still shows that your body requires little stimulus to go into that level of stress response, which I understand from a nervous system perspective, but I didn't understand from a cellular building block foundational body perspective beyond just the nervous system. And something else he said that really stuck with me was that you can practice like Qigong, Tai Chi masters can practice for 5 years and not even be completely in their feet. Right? We are in an epidemic of disembodiment. And we might think, right? It's like, feel your feet connected to the floor. There's so many practices that we've been introduced to ground, to bring ourselves back down to earth. But the reality is that, and this is what he was saying, you can do that practice of coming into your feet, but you're not actually really in your feet. Right? We're walking around in various states of dissociation, most people are, or we're walking around not in the self with the capital S, but in a part. And that includes operating within a part of the body instead of inhabiting the whole of the body. So we might go, I'm present, I'm here, I'm in my body, but there are levels to that. All I'm saying is that if you have reached a stuck point within your healing and you haven't actually fully addressed the physical body, go back to the foundation. Are you getting adequate rest? Are you getting enough sunlight? Are you eating the way that your body actually needs you to eat? Are you taking things and living a lifestyle that supports your life force energy, that supports your organ systems, that supports anti-inflammation? Are you getting your macros and your micros? Do you have your hormones in check? I'm not rattling all these things off so that people can feel overwhelmed or like they're not doing enough and then now I need to dramatically change my whole life. It's just, we don't need to make things more complicated than they really are. Go back to the foundation, start making changes in the physical body and see how that naturally from the bottom up produces positive effects on your mental health, on your emotional well-being, on your spiritual life, everything. It's not about judging ourselves. It's not about going into black and white. I'm going to uproot and change every single thing in my life right now. But it is about being honest with ourselves. Are we really taking care of our physical body? And if we're not, and we're trying to address something as a psychological issue, I'm not saying that there isn't a psychological component or there isn't an emotional component to it. But if you're only attacking it from that one angle, you may be missing a very significant piece. So anyways, that's my goal right now, to really, really dial in the physical foundation of my body and see if I can't just root out the tiniest little bit of residual stuff that I haven't been able to fully root out. And of course, I also want to be clear that I could have resolved my physical body, like dial in hormones, right? Nutrition, macros, everything, sun, sleep. And that wouldn't have been enough to resolve a lot of the psychological and emotional issues that I had to overcome through those avenues. So it's not like that's just going to take care of everything, but it's going to take care of a lot. And then you're going to see whatever's left.